Hello everyone, I am Richard Neo. Welcome to our Global Majority broadcast on geopolitical events that affect us in one way or another. The title of today's video is, Should China, as President of the UN Security Council, lead a peacekeeping force to Gaza immediately? The UN General Assembly had approved, by a two-thirds majority vote, a Jordanian-sponsored resolution calling for a ceasefire between Israel and the Palestinian Hamas fighters. The dire situation in Gaza has been described as not just a humanitarian crisis, but as a crisis of humanity by China's ambassador to the UN, Zhang Jun, in his capacity as the UNSC president. This decades-old Israel-Palestine crisis took a turn for the worse on the 7th of October, 2023. That evening, Hamas fighters from the Gaza Strip managed to breach Israeli defense. Hamas killed 1,400 Israelis and took 240 Israelis and foreigners as hostages. In response, Israel conducted air raids into Gaza, causing the death of more than 11,000 Gazans, half of whom were children. Israel also cut off Gaza from electricity, fuel, food, medicine, and water supplies. Many buildings and hospitals suspected of harboring Hamas fighters were also bombed. This intensive Israeli-Palestinian conflict dates back to at least 1967. It needs to be resolved once and for all. The United Nations, as the apex organization for international cooperation, is the most appropriate platform to help resolve this long-festering crisis. This gives China, the current president of the UNSC, a unique opportunity to exercise its well-proven track record of its fair and just leadership role as a peace mediator. China can operationalize the 27th of October 2023 UNGA resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. This resolution, submitted by Jordan and co-sponsored by the Arab countries, received overwhelming support. 121 members voted for the resolution. Only the US and Israel voted against, while most of Europe abstained, much to the dismay of the Global South countries. India also abstained. The Chinese ambassador reminded that the resolution is binding and should be implemented to the letter. A peacekeeping force will need to be sent to Gaza to enforce the resolution, to protect civilians, and to facilitate humanitarian relief. It is crucial for China to operationalize its leadership role by leading a peacekeeping force to Gaza immediately. For the past few weeks, hundreds of thousands of demonstrators throughout major cities in the world have been chanting ceasefire now, ceasefire now. Recently, the heads of 57 Islamic and Arab states met in Riyadh. They unanimously called for an immediate ceasefire. In a rare display of consensus, on 15th of November 2023, the UNSC approved a Malta-sponsored resolution calling for urgent and extended humanitarian pauses and corridors in Gaza for a sufficient number of days to allow full, rapid, safe and unhindered access for UN agencies and partners. Of the 15 UNSC members, 12 voted for the resolution. The other 3 countries abstained, namely the US and UK. Russia abstained because it had insisted on a ceasefire instead of a mere pause. With this huge mandate, China publicly urged Israel to end hostilities against civilian facilities, including hospitals, and to restore basic supplies, such as water and fuel, as soon as possible. Russia urged the UNSC to take immediate follow-up actions, including what observers to send to the conflict areas, and which UN contingent will be involved. Russia added, "We will not allow this issue to be hushed up and swept under the carpet." For the parties in conflict, it is hoped that these resolutions provide an acceptable law front for them to end the violence. From there, they could start to negotiate towards a two-state solution, as approved by an earlier United Nations resolution, which had the support of all the major world powers. Whether or not the UNSC can help solve this Israeli-Palestinian conflict could decide the relevance of the UNGA and the UNSC as the apex organization for maintaining world peace. Let us hope that the UNSC presidency, China, exercises its authority and implement the UNGA and UNSC resolutions without fear or favor. And to the letter. That is the end of the video. Please share this video with your friends. This is Richard Neo thanking you again.